Greetings ladies and gentlemen. Following my previous video that delved into the intricate lore of Death Stranding, where I simply explained the chronological lore from various elements derived from documents, I thought it would be intriguing to explore another game with equally perplexing lore, such as Scorn. Without wasting any time, I dove straight into my research. However, I soon realized that Scorn lacks traditional narrative elements like dialogue or written documents. The only written material available related to the game is its art book. This sparked a glimmer of hope, prompting me to read through the art book. Unfortunately, after a brief glance, I discovered that it primarily focuses on describing the artwork through interviews with some of the developers and designers, rather than providing concrete explanations of the game's themes or background. Consequently, I found myself without substantial information to clarify the lore. The narrative lacks depth and origin, leaving many questions unanswered, even by the developers themselves. The environment you find yourself in exists without a clear explanation or backstory. Concept artist Philip Vuckovic reflects this sentiment, stating that they have moved past the expectation of fully comprehending every aspect of the game. From my perspective, this approach feels like a missed opportunity for storytelling. While the developers crafted striking visuals and compelling themes, they seem to have neglected the development of a coherent narrative or engaging gameplay. Instead of delving deeper into the story, they appeared to settle for a superficial experience. Ultimately, it feels like a focus on style over substance. Nevertheless, the captivating imagery and thematic elements are strong enough to elevate the game into a remarkable experience. Therefore, while I might critique the storytelling, I cannot deny the game's ability to captivate and entertain. Regardless of the challenges I faced, I refused to give up and continued to delve into the underlying themes of Scorn, seeking to uncover its motivations and philosophies. Fortunately, I believe I have identified two fundamental concepts that are both straightforward and easy to grasp: sex and greed. These two elements seem to encapsulate the essence of what Scorn represents, revealing deeper insights into human nature and societal dynamics. By focusing on these core ideas, I have gained a clearer understanding of the narrative and its implications, allowing me to appreciate the world on a more profound level. I will explain why I choose sex and greed as the final conclusion at the end of the video, so stay tuned and enjoy watching. Segment 1. What happened? Scorn is set in a distant future on Earth, where a sprawling metropolis known as Polis serves as the home for humanoid beings. In this society, the physical form is viewed as a limitation, prompting the inhabitants to transfer their consciousness into a vast purple hive mind. Despite this collective existence, individuals retain the ability to detach from the hive and pursue their own endeavors within the world around them. To facilitate their activities, they have created robotic exoskeletons that are operated through telepathic connections, allowing for a seamless blend of autonomy and communal living. The residents of Polis possess a unique interest in sexuality, maintaining physical sexual organs despite their disembodied state. Their reproduction is an intriguing process occurring through specialized bulbs embedded in a structure known as the Genesis Wall. This wall serves as a source of life, enabling the creation of new beings in a manner that reflects the bizarre and surreal nature of their environment. The interplay between their biological needs and their technological advancements creates a complex society that challenges traditional notions of existence. At the conclusion of the game, players encounter a strikingly surreal gateway that embodies a psychedelic experience in a tangible form. This gate symbolizes the culmination of the journey, representing the ultimate escape or transformation that occurs when one seeks to transcend the limitation of their reality. The narrative suggests that the pursuit of pleasure, such as the quest for a euphoric high, can lead to profound consequences, including the metaphorical death of the self in the search for deeper understanding and experience. The homunculi, those unsettling miniature figures contained in jars, were originally created by the Polis people from former slaves. These beings function as organic batteries powering the machines that the Polis relied on. However, the homunculi eventually managed to liberate themselves from their bondage and launch a rebellion against their creators. Unfortunately, this uprising was followed by a devastating civil war among the homunculi themselves, which severely weakened their ranks and disrupted their fight for freedom. The small beings encased in spears are referred to as Moldman, representing a secondary race of enslaved individuals engineered by the Polis civilization. Additionally, the structure you explore at the game's outset serves as a factory dedicated to the cultivation of Moldman. The source of the organic matter that is contaminating the environment remains a mystery. These entities are known as creator creatures and operate similarly to bacteria, emanating from a central point and proliferating across the landscape. It is likely that the creator creatures were developed as biological weapons by the Polis to combat the homunculi, or perhaps they were created by the homunculi themselves as a means to engage in their internal conflicts. This intricate web of creation and conflict highlights the complex relationship between the various factions within the game. The Moldman and creator creatures not only serve as pivotal elements in the narrative but also reflect the broader themes of exploitation and warfare that permeates the world. As players navigate through this environment, they are confronted with the consequences of these engineered beings and the ongoing struggle for power and survival. Segment 2: Where Are We? We find ourselves in intricately designed mechanical environments where the fundamental components of these structures and devices are derived from organic materials resembling a factory that functions as a recycling facility. The material being processed originates from a group of unfortunate humanoid beings whose bodies are harvested on an industrial scale. This grim operation encompasses every aspect of their existence, from their birth and transportation to their eventual slaughter, revealing a chilling process where various body parts are systematically stripped and repurposed. The unconventional materials and techniques employed in construction transform even the most ordinary walls into striking features, adding to the unsettling atmosphere. In this world, players are granted the opportunity to explore at their own pace, allowing them to carefully examine their surroundings without the threat of immediate danger. The design of Scorn encourages a meticulous approach to exploration where every detail contributes to the overall experience. Each mechanism within this universe is bound by its own biomechanical principles, creating a cohesive and immersive environment. Players will encounter connections resembling optic nerve-like tendrils that link fuses to sockets, while organic tubing transports signals to various locations, enhancing the eerie yet fascinating aesthetic of the game. Lighting plays a crucial role in shaping the atmosphere, with bioluminescence occasionally illuminating shadowy corners. However, the design of the explorable areas prioritizes the use of external light sources whenever feasible, creating a dynamic interplay between light and shadow. This thoughtful approach to environmental design not only enhances the visual experience but also deepens the sense of unease that permeates the world of Scorn. As players navigate through these haunting spaces, they are constantly reminded of the underlying themes of exploitation and the grotesque transformation of life into mechanical components. Segment 3: Who We Are. Humanoid and parasites presents a fascinating dynamics within the narrative. The parasite is a slender, snake-like entity adept at maneuvering through tight spaces and launching surprise attack from above. This design choice, which prioritizes cunning over brute force, is crucial in instilling a sense of dread in players as they navigate the treacherous environment of Scorn. The parasite transcends its lore as merely an adversary. After an initial encounter, it becomes a sort of companion, shadowing the protagonist throughout their harrowing journey. Initially appearing as a thin, serpentine creature, it gradually grows in size and ferocity as players delve deeper into the ominous surroundings. The relationship between the protagonist and the parasite is one of mutual dependence, where the former relies on the latter for survival in a hostile world. Without the parasite's assistance, the protagonists would find themselves utterly vulnerable against the myriad threats lurking in the shadows. However, the designs conceived by Vuckovic evoke a chilling narrative about the potential consequences of this symbiosis. If left unchecked, the parasite's insatiable hunger could lead to catastrophic outcomes as it transforms from a mere ally into a monstrous entity driven by bloodlust. As the parasite becomes increasingly powerful, its predatory instincts take over, resulting in a gruesome display of violence. Its claws, sharp and relentless, tear into flesh, showcasing the darker side of their bond. The parasite's insatiable appetite ultimately leads to consume its host, assimilating the remnants into its own grotesque form. This unsettling transformation serves as a stark reminder of the fine line between cooperation and domination, leaving players to ponder the true nature of their relationship as they traverse the nightmarish landscape of Scorn. Segment 4: Chronological Events. In the unfolding narrative of the game, players initially assume the role of a policeman, the first protagonist, who is already afflicted by a dangerous bacterial infection. This character embarks on a journey to the Moldman production facility, driven by hope of activating it to secure transportation to the tower, where a potential cure for his condition awaits. Unfortunately, disaster strikes when an explosion occurs in the factory's cement storage, incapacitating him. Left unchecked, the infection leads to a grotesque transformation into a monstrous parasite, marking the end of gameplay as the first protagonist. Following this harrowing turn of events, players transition to controlling a second policeman who emerges from the Genesis wall. This new character sets out for Polis, eager to reunite with his ascended companions while grappling with the harsh realities of the world around him. However, the narrative takes a dark twist when he is ambushed and assimilated by the very parasite that was once the first protagonist. Despite this grim encounter, the two entities must collaborate to navigate the treacherous path back to Polis, facing numerous challenges along the way. Upon reaching Polis, the second protagonist seeks to upload his consciousness and utilize a robotic shell to traverse the psychedelic gates in pursuit of ultimate ecstasy. However, just as he is on the brink of achieving this goal, the parasite betrays him, resulting in his death and a fusion of their beings. In a climactic conclusion, both characters merge into a singular entity known as the Greater Creature, only to be ultimately consumed by the insatiable force of greed, sealing their tragic fate. Segment Philosophies. The essence of the concept presented in Scorn, particularly in the segment we engage with, serve as an astral representation of the immense challenges one faces in the journey of being born. This leads to a profound moral: we must learn to value ourselves. But what does it mean to value oneself? Consider this. We enter this world with nothing, lacking any skills or abilities. Recognizing that we came into existence without any resources or capabilities should instill a sense of gratitude within us, especially when we reflect on the arduous journey we undertook even before birth. The struggle against countless sperm cells to reach our mother's egg was already a monumental challenge, and upon achieving that, we still faced numerous risks, symbolized by the parasites that threaten our development before birth. This narrative carries a deep message, urging us to acknowledge the significance of our existence and the trials we overcame to arrive here. It serves as a reminder that succumbing to greed and selfishness is detrimental, as it undermines the very essence of our journey. If we allow ourselves to become consumed by negative traits, we risk rendering our hard-won existence meaningless. The sacrifices made by countless sperm cells, all striving for the same goal, highlight the preciousness of life and the importance of living it with integrity and kindness. Ultimately, this story encourages us to reflect on our lives and the choices we make. It emphasizes that our existence is not merely a result of chance, but a culmination of struggles and victories. By embracing gratitude and humility, we can honor the journey that brought us here and strive to lead lives that reflect the value of that experience. In doing so, we not only uplift ourselves but also contribute positively to the world around us, ensuring that the legacy of our beginnings is one of compassion and respect for life. Upon entering the world, our primary objective is to survive and ensure the continuation of our lineage. This journey typically involves seeking sustenance, finding a life partner, and eventually raising children with the hope that they will grow into better individuals than we are as parents. Ultimately, we aspire for them to replicate our positive experiences, thus continuing the cycle of parenthood through generations. However, the current landscape presents a different challenge. Many individuals find themselves at the stage of employment but are easily distracted from their broader life goals. In today's society, a significant number of people hesitate to embark on the journey of reproduction, often citing moral or financial underpreparedness as their reasons. Interestingly, many who have stable jobs and even substantial savings still lack the intention to settle down with a partner. This reluctance is compounded by the fact that for those who are in a relationship, the decision to have children is approached with extreme caution. There is a growing trend of couples choosing to separate before they even reach the stage of parenthood, reflecting a shift in priorities and values. This phenomenon raises important questions about the evolving nature of family and societal expectations. The traditional timeline of life milestones, education, career, marriage, and children, seems to be in flux as individuals prioritize personal fulfillment and stability over conventional paths. As a result, the focus has shifted from merely continuing the lineage to ensuring that one is fully prepared both emotionally and materially before taking the significant step of starting a family. This change in mindset highlights the complexities of modern life and the challenges that come with balancing personal aspirations with the age-old desire to nurture the next generation. Returning to the themes of sex and greed, my research on the philosophy of the game Scorn illustrates that humanity has faltered due to manipulation by these two elements. The game presents a stark commentary on how these primal instincts can lead individuals astray, ultimately resulting in a failure to achieve higher moral or existential goals. Through its narrative and visual storytelling, Scorn effectively highlights the detrimental impact of allowing such desires to dictate human behavior and decision-making. Sex and greed play significant roles in driving extinction, particularly when it comes to human reproduction and the ongoing challenges we face in our world. The interplay between these two forces often leads to unsustainable practices that threaten not only individual species but also the delicate balance of ecosystems. As humanity continues to prioritize immediate gratification and material gain, the consequences ripple through generations, impacting reproductive health and the overall development of societies. The core of these challenges can be traced back to human reproduction and the choices we make as a species. The decisions surrounding how we reproduce, nurture, and develop our societies are deeply intertwined with our values and priorities. If we continue to allow sex and greed to dictate our actions, we risk not only our own survival, but also of that countless other species. First, sex. Sex should primarily serve as a means for reproduction, allowing humans to procreate and ensure the continuation of their lineage. It should not be viewed as the main focus of relationships, or pursued frequently solely for the sake of physical pleasure. Engaging in sexual activity purely for the gratification of desires without the underlying purpose of reproduction can detract from its intended significance in human life. Moreover, the emphasis on sex as a primary goal can lead to a misunderstanding of its role in relationships. When sexual encounters are prioritized over emotional connection and mutual respect, the deeper aspects of intimacy may be overlooked. This shift in focus can result in superficial interactions that fail to foster genuine bonds between individuals. Ultimately, it is essential to recognize that while sexual expression is a natural part of human experience, its primary function should be to facilitate reproduction. By understanding and respecting this purpose, individuals can cultivate healthier relationships that balance physical intimacy with emotional fulfillment, ensuring that sex remains a meaningful aspect of human connection rather than a mere pursuit of pleasure. Second, greed. Wealth and savings should serve as tools to support our ability to raise a worthy generation that can continue our lineage rather than becoming the primary focus of our lives. When the pursuit of these material gains overshadows our humanity, it leads us to justify unethical means to acquire them. This misplaced priority can ultimately result in a neglect of our moral values as we prioritize personal wealth over the well-being of our community and future generations. In a world where relentless chase for riches often takes precedence, it is crucial to remember that true success lies in nurturing relationships and fostering a sense of responsibility towards others. The wealth we accumulate should ideally empower us to create opportunities for those around us, ensuring that our legacy is not just one of financial gain, but also of compassion and support. By shifting our focus from individual greed to collective growth, we can build a society that values humanity alongside prosperity. Ultimately, the challenge lies in balancing our ambitions with our ethical obligations. It is essential to recognize that while financial stability is important, it should not come at the cost of our integrity or the welfare of others. By redefining our priorities and viewing wealth as a means to an end rather than an end in itself, we can cultivate a more humane approach to success that benefits not only ourselves, but also the generations that follow. What are your thoughts about it all? I am Fury Rust. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the line.